Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're all staying warm because wow, this winter weather has been absolutely brutal. We've got an intense Arctic blast gripping the US right now, bringing record-breaking cold and significant snowfall. As we head into the weekend and next week, we're expecting a major warm-up, and I'm not talking about a mild rise in temperatures. I'm talking about an actual heat wave in some areas. And you might be wondering, wait, doesn't that mean the snow is finally done? Well, not exactly. This kind of dramatic temperature shift is actually going to fuel more storm systems. And believe it or not, we could be looking at even more snowfall as a result. So, in today's forecast, we're going to break down everything you need to know about this extreme weather pattern, how it's going to affect different parts of the country, and what you should be preparing for over the next 7 days. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Let's start with what's happening across the U.S. right now. Over the last 48 hours, we've finally seen some improvement compared to the intense winter storm that just swept through. That system has officially moved off the East Coast. And while there are still some lingering snow showers in southern New England and parts of the Great Lakes region, the widespread heavy snow is pretty much done for most areas. Now, if we take a look at satellite imagery, you can actually see the snow that's already on the ground. The infrared imagery is picking up on the snowpack across the central and northern plains, and if you look closely, you can even spot some fresh snowfall in parts of Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. It's pretty incredible how these satellite images can pick up on that kind of detail. So for now, things are much quieter. But don't get too comfortable because as we move into next week, we're expecting some major changes. And now let's talk about the big winter storm that just hit. If you were in the path of this system, you're probably wondering, did the storm overperform or underperform compared to the forecast? Well, it really depended on where you were. For much of the Central Plains and Mid-Atlantic, snowfall amounts varied quite a bit. In southwestern Missouri and southeastern Kansas, the storm actually underperformed. We were expecting higher totals, but most areas, especially around Joplin and Springfield, only picked up between 6 to 10 inches. Meanwhile, just south of St. Louis and southeast Missouri, the opposite happened. Snowfall overperformed with many areas getting close to a foot of snow. Over in Oklahoma, most places only saw a light dusting to a few inches. Again, much less than expected. But then North Texas saw a huge surprise. We actually had lake effect snow, which was completely unexpected in the forecast. Some areas picked up between 2 to 3 inches, which is extremely rare for that region. And then we had one of the biggest overperformances of all, Virginia Beach. As of early this morning, parts of the area recorded 12 inches of snowfall. That makes this the most significant winter storm the region has seen in the past 15 years. So yeah, winter weather keeps getting more intense. And then it's not over yet. Now, let's talk about the temperatures because this cold air outbreak is absolutely historic. Right now, we're seeing some of the coldest temperatures in years across the U.S., especially in the central and southern plains. Temperature anomalies this morning are running 30 to 45 degrees below average. That's shattering records left and right. In fact, today alone, we've got around 60 record low temperatures either being tied or broken across the central and southern plains. That is an insane number of records falling in just one day. I honestly don't remember the last time we saw this much record-breaking cold all at once. Tomorrow, that brutal cold air starts shifting east into the Midwest. By Saturday, it settles into the Ohio Valley and the East Coast, but if you're out in the northern plains, get ready for a crazy temperature swing. Some areas that are currently sitting below zero will be back to above average temperatures by the weekend. Right now, wind chills in parts of the northern plains are as low as 50 below zero. That is dangerously cold. But by early next week, some of these same places will be 30 degrees above average. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the weather. It's completely off the rails. We are literally going from record-breaking cold to potential record-breaking warmth in just a few days. This is one of the wildest weather swings I've ever seen in such a short period of time. And here's where it gets even more interesting, because as temperatures rise next week, we're setting the stage for another big weather pattern shift. Let's talk about what's coming next. The jet stream is going to play a huge role in shaping our weather pattern. Right now, we've got a big dip in the jet stream over the East Coast, and that's what's been funneling all this Arctic air into the country. But as we head into the weekend, the pattern starts getting messy. We won't have any major storm systems right away, which is good news. However, by the middle of next week, we start to see a more active pattern developing. We're expecting a series of Alberta clippers to drop out of Canada These are smaller storm systems that can bring bursts of snowfall to the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. So while we're not looking at another blockbuster winter storm just yet, we are going to see periods of snow returning to those areas. Looking at the precipitation outlook for this period, it seems like NOAA is favoring a wetter than normal setup for much of the country. But to be honest, I highly doubt that every area from the Rockies eastward will see above average precipitation. There are some key regions they've pinpointed, like just east of the Rockies and the Deep South, two areas that could end up seeing a lot of storm activity. That's especially concerning for severe weather, since this is the same general region that saw a lot of action in early February. Now, let's take a look at the past 20 days. So, the first 20 days of February as a whole. Clearly, the coldest air has been focused on the Northwest and Northern Plains, but we're starting to see some rapid cooling across the Midwest, Great Lakes, parts of the northern mid-Atlantic, and into the Northeast. I expect this trend to continue with the cold slowly sinking southward over the next week. Switching over to the European model, we're going to work through what's coming next. And honestly, we have numerous snowfall chances on the models. I have a few time frames that I think have the highest potential. Right now, we're in a bit of a lull. Things have calmed down after the last storm, but as we move into the medium to long range, there are some signals popping up again. It kind of feels like we're turning the page into a new chapter, and I think we're going to learn a lot more over the next few days. Right now, there are still a lot of question marks. Let's start with Friday afternoon tomorrow from the time I'm making this video. Overall, pretty quiet. We have some warmth out west and some lingering cold in the east. By Saturday, not much changes. Some warmth starts creeping eastward, but the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Northeast, and Mid-Atlantic stay chilly. Now, jumping ahead to Sunday, February 23rd, we start to see some action picking up again. A storm system is moving into the northwest, bringing rain and snow, and we also have a system forming in the western Gulf. But the problem with this Gulf storm is that it doesn't have a jet stream to latch onto. It's just kind of sitting there moving east instead of being pulled north. Normally, if we wanted to see a big winter storm, we'd need the jet stream to dig south and pull that low up along the east coast. But that's not happening here. So this system just slides offshore without much impact. Fast forward to Thursday, February 27th, and we have a much more interesting setup. This time, we do have a strong jet stream diving south, and we see a storm developing right along it. The cold air is really surging down at this point, and as this system rides along the jet stream, we could see some significant snow and even thunderstorms in the south. Now, I want to stress this. We're still about a week out, so there's a lot of uncertainty. But the ingredients are coming together, and if the trends hold, this could be a big one. The main thing we need to watch is how far south this trends, because that's been the dominant shift all winter. Could this one end up favoring areas like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Virginia this time? Possibly, but it's too soon to say for sure. Looking even further ahead into early March, we see multiple storm signals, some more potential snow events, severe weather in the south, and even some big West Coast storms. We'll keep tracking all of these developments as we get closer. With all that said, I upload almost every day, so if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you do so you don't miss any updates. Hit the bell icon for notifications. Leave a like if you enjoyed this breakdown, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.